Welcome to QI, where tonight we're looking for our keys. To help us, we have a key man, Tim Minchin. A key woman, Issy Sooty. A key player, Bill Bailey. And an Allen key, Alan Davis. So, they've all got their keyboards. Tim, give us an A. That's an A. Issy, in the great tradition of blockbusters, I'd like an E, please. Very nice. Bill, give us a G. And Alan, give us a B. We have given you musical instrument.
I have got a thing here, but...
We didn't trust you with anything electrical. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, something for you to keep yourself occupied.
Yeah.
Don't know any answers.
Bill could teach me a couple of tunes.
I bet Bill
probably
will,
during
too.
the record.
Here's a good one. Here's a good one. Yeah. It's an airport announcement.
Airport announcement by Ravel.
By Ravel, it's a beautiful piece.
Absolutely wonderful.
Announcement airport.
Announcement airport, exactly. Do you know any tunes?
French? No. I don't know any tunes. Doorbell. Same. Similar. I don't know who wrote who's first. I imagine Doorbell came first.
They're always in a major third, as if to herald good news.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Your flight's delayed by 8 hours. I don't feel so bad.
Yes, that
Boarding now. Oh,
The best doorbells will frighten people away.
Marvellous. You haven't played anything for us yet, is he? Just get your fingers warm.
That was the jazz
Wow,
version.
pretty good.
That's great.
Anyway, there we are. So, I'll give you the keys to the city. All right? What's the first thing you'll do? Yes.
I'd make a copy of them.
yeah, okay.
And then, in case I lock myself out when I'm drunk. And I give a copy to my cleaner.
Very, very smart. What else can you do with the keys to the city?
Drive a sheep across a bridge.
No, I am a freeman of the City of London, as a matter of fact.
Quite right.
Yes, oh, thank you.
Very
And
disappointed if you were.
I did drive a sheep over, though, in fact, it was flagrantly illegal. It's just one of those myths. There's also that supposedly that you can bear a sword in the city, but that's not true either.
Is there an actual door that you can fit that in?
No, no, there really isn't.
What do you actually get? Do you actually get a key in a nice presentation case?
No, you get a long sort of parchment wherein heretofore, as let it be understood, the city and corporation. And it's extraordinary, the mayor, they've been mayors since about 1213, and I said, you must feel pretty extraordinary to be in a position that has just unchanged for 800 years, and there was a little cough at my shoulder, and it was the sheriff of London. And he said, there were sheriffs of London 500 years before the first mayor. So he was in the 8th century, in 700s. Through plagues and fires and all that. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
What does he do? How does one sheriff these days? What do you do?
Wear extraordinary shrivel, it's the adjective of sheriff, shriveled laces and wigs and things like that. Well, in London, what it is, you're free to trade without having to pay a toll at the bridge. Today, it's a purely symbolic honour. City of London police do not permit sheep to be taken across the bridge, aside from the occasional publicity stunt.
Yeah.
City of London police are so boring.
They are their own...
Can't do that there. Oh, come on.
Oh, come
Can
on.
you freedom?
Can you do any... Is there anything you can do? I mean, is there anything you can go naked or something? Or,
No real rights. I mean, if you're poor, you can access some educational and charitable funds. Dick Whittington, probably the most famous London Lord Mayor, in the early 15th century, left money in trust for water troughs and children's education, and that charity is still giving out money. It's been wisely invested. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? There are other people to get freedoms of cities. To whom do you think Detroit gave the key of their city in 1980?
Diana Ross.
No, it wasn't Diana Ross. You'd think it would be
Someone off of Motown.
Gary
It should
Newman.
be a Motown star. It wasn't Gary Newman.
Gary Newman?
No.
What, wrote Cars?
No,
might
that would be
the
good, wouldn't it? No, it wasn't. It was actually Saddam Hussein.
Well, they're sick of him.
What? It's the usual pattern. In 1980, he was our friend.
He was a friend?
Yeah.
Of course.
City of Toronto has given the key to Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela and Mickey Mouse.
Never seen in the
The
same
Dalai
room.
Lama, why him?
The Dalai Lama. What was it?
Nelson Mandela and Mickey Mouse.
Oh, my perfect Sunday. Those three round a dinner.
Corona, California gave a cat the freedom of its city
that's
limits
stupid, isn't it?
because the cat had hit the Guinness Book of Records by being the tallest cat in the world. And because we're QI, we rang up the city of Corona, and it's true. They were very pleased to have it verified for us. But Cher upset Australians in 2012 when she sold her key to Adelaide on eBay.
Oh.
She got $96,000 for it.
What?
Yeah.
Someone paid 96 grand for a symbolic key to Adelaide.
To Adelaide, not even Melbourne or Sydney.
I mean, I don't like Adelaide, but that's...
It's a lot, though, isn't it?
She responded to the inevitable backlash on Twitter. She said, "I'm upset too and trying to get to bottom, exclamation mark. I think my office..."
Effed
It's
up.
up.
Yeah. Fudged up, yeah.
Fremd.
So there you are.
Flowed.
Flower up.
Lagab.
Keep guessing.
Fruity.
Flannel.
Flannel.
Flannel up. Flannel up and wait for me.
Flannel up. Clean yourself and flannel up. I'll be up in 5 minutes.
To flannel you down.
Flannel up. Put on the special ointment.
Bring me another one. This one's flannelled out. Oh, dear. All right.
like a flannel.
Okay. What key part did bigots play in the Second World War?
Bigots. What do you mean?
Bigots.
You're talking of
Not that kind of bigot,
That kind
actually.
of
We're
bigot.
being a diversionary tactic
That's a bit of a minor description.
there. Yes, I think it is, exactly.
Right, okay, isn't it?
This word is bigot with a
Oh, he
bigot.
was a bigot, was he? Oh, the more I hear about it. Is that an acronym, though, for something?
Yes,
Bigot.
it's an acronym. B-I-G-O-T. No, it's British. Churchill chose it.
Oh, really?
Bra-
Beware.
brown-eyed
I've
girls
got
on toast.
one trouser.
Beware, I've got one trouser. Yes.
I'm getting out
Tomorrow.
Blimey, I've got
It's gone off.
owls. Turned
Owls?
owls.
He's so shit at I Spy, I can't even tell you.
Bigot stands for British Invasion of German-occupied territory. So there's Monty, and there's Winnie, and they're looking at a map, as you can see, and they're planning D-Day.
Flannel over there.
D-Day.
Okay, chaps.
Got your flannel?
Everybody want their flannel.
All flannelled up. Of course, Churchill was the only person who Monty would let smoke. Well, yes, it was so secret that anybody who knew any details of the Normandy landings, they were on the bigot list, and they were not allowed under any circumstances to leave the country. The only exception was Churchill himself, but no one on the bigot list was allowed out of Britain. And indeed, there was a rehearsal for the invasion in 1944, and 10 people on the bigot list were killed accidentally. And all plans for the invasion were put on hold until they could account for every single one of the bodies, just to be absolutely sure that the secret didn't get out.
Right. Well,
So
I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah.
It's got out now, we know
Got
now.
out now, yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It's not like it was unlikely it wasn't going to happen, was it? I mean, England's there, France is there.
I know,
you
but we did everything we possibly could to persuade them that it was going to be further across towards Belgium. And indeed, they withheld divisions further away from Normandy, where we landed, precisely because Germany fell
Fake landing
for
path.
some of the spies, the Zigzag Man and Zabo, and that poor old chap who was a dead body, who was dressed as if he was an important officer and dropped in the sea outside Gibraltar with a chained briefcase next to him with plans in it. And they gave him a whole life. It was called The Man Who Never Was. It's a film of it.
Who actually was he?
He was probably a very sad, down-and-out Welsh chap who died very young and been found sleeping rough somewhere, and they dressed him up smartly to look like an officer.
You wouldn't have to do that now. You just get someone from Big Brother or something. You know? People volunteer for it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's the prize.
Certainly the rest of us would.
Yes, surprises. You're going to be killed. You're going to be a fake general. Oh, empty.
No, it is. It's a good film. Have you ever seen it coming around on
I
Channel
will.
4 one afternoon, sort of thing that pops up now and again?
Yes, I will.
It's funny to think when he was alive, he didn't know what a key part he'd play when he was dead.
I know. Operation Mincemeat, it was called.
Yeah. You can sign up to this service now when you're alive, which monitors your tweets and Facebook updates and things. And then when you're dead, it continues to tweet as you until an executor of the will who you've nominated tells it to stop. And while you're alive, you give it feedback as to how good it is. And I'm starting this business, and if anyone... No, it already exists.
Well, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
So you can set how long it goes on till?
Yeah, well, you give someone's name and you say, this person makes
Is
the
authorised.
decision as to when
Yeah.
the virtual me dies. And then you give it feedback. So if it's slightly funnier than you are, you say, it's quite good, but bring it down a notch.
So people don't... So somebody employs to be you, then, after your death? Or it's not just you going, dead, 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 still dead, dead...
Yeah.
And then your followers go up, oh, he's dead, dead, oh...
You know, with one's contact list, when people die, I never have the heart to cut them out. So I have friends that have been dead 12, 15 years who are still in my address book because I just
Have they ever called?
They manifestly haven't called, and I haven't called them. But the act of just going delete seems so...
I've done the same thing, but the good thing is, if someone dead does call you, you'll know it's them.
Yes.
You'll know not to
I know that I've been wrong all this time. I know not to answer. That's true. Well, of course, that number might be reused.
Oh, they do recycle them, yeah.
Yes.
So it is possible that
that
one
would
day...
be the shock of one's life.
In fact, it's probable that one day that coincidence will happen. Someone who's got an old number of a dead person will accidentally ring a person who... God, I can't wait till that happens. Put that on QR.
Very exciting. Now, secrecy. In least order upwards, what's the word for a least secret document?
For anyone's eyes
everyone.
only.
Yes, but it's unclassified. And then protect. And then restricted.
Oh.
And then up to...
look over there.
It goes up to...
confidential.
Confidential.
Don't know what you're on about. Yeah.
And then...
I'm going to have to kill you.
Secret. And then...
Top secret.
Top secret, yes. It used to be in Britain, not top secret, but...
Most secret.
Most secret. Most... we're going to use this Americanism now, top secret.
Most secret's so British.
It is, it's most secret.
Totes secret.
There are, of course, there are some UFO conspiracy theories
Banging
who will
secret.
tell you that there are 38 levels of secrecy above top secret, right?
Why are you talking like this?
Because these are UFO conspiracy theories.
Oh,
That's how they talk.
That's how they talk.
That's how they talk, is it?
They do talk like
They
that.
all talk
Oh,
like
yes.
that.
Oh, you can laugh. I know. Yes. You'll be laughing on the other side of your face when you're being probed. Yes. Top level is cosmic. Cosmic secret. And even the President of the US does not have cosmic clearance,
Really?
apparently.
Who
Look
does?
it up. Look it up on the internet.
It's all there.
It's true. Totally true.
That's my favourite thing about conspiracy theorists, is this is something that the president doesn't know, but I've figured it out. I'll talk it away.
I'm on the internet.
on
no
the
one's
internet.
got that.
Fantastic, isn't it? Oh, God. But now, what is Canucus eyes only?
Big one?
Canucus eyes only.
Is there a creature called a canucus?
Canucus.
And it's the only thing that's allowed to look at it. But it can't speak, and therefore will never tell anyone.
Commander-in-Chief, United States.
No,
Not
Canada,
bad, though,
UK.
not bad.
Very good. Canada, UK, and United States. Canucus.
Canucus.
Canucus as well. And there's Oscanzucus, which is known as the
What could that possibly be?
Five Eyes, which is Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, UK.
They're all one eye.
There's also basically don't tell the French. So, bigots were the key men in planning for the D-Day landings. Now, what's the best way to keep the open organisation of lockpickers out of your homes?
Bucket of water over the door, a rake on the floor, 2 miniature beds of nails, and a very hungry tiger. And you put all that outside the potential lockpicker's door so that they can't even leave their home.
You don't need to, is the point, actually. The fact is, they are incredibly moral and ethical. This organisation, which is literally called TOOL, the organisation, there it is, the open organisation of lockpickers.
This is made up.
It's Dutch.
Is it?
It's a Dutch organisation of recreational lockpickers. They claim to have a good purpose. They help spread the word in security and show how things can be picked. But the point is, you're not allowed ever in this organisation to pick a lock that doesn't belong to you. That's how moral they are.
Well, that's boring, isn't it?
That's when they're meeting, but obviously when they're professionally
These
being lock
guys.
pickers...
Hey, what a crazy bunch of guys. Let's go and pick some locks, but not someone we don't know. OK. What a crazy time we're going to have. How come it's only me today? Yeah. I am such a tool. Yeah.
Many Tools members are obviously lockmakers and locksmiths. There they are, tools of their trade.
It's incredible how you can have such a specific skill in one area and be so bad with fonts.
Yes! Very true.
It's non-overlapping magisterium.
It is not an overlapping magisterium.
Fonts.
Terrible. It's probably a font organisation as well.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Who cannot get into their house.
Do you know about Alfred C. Hobbs? He was a great American lock-picker and lockmaker, and he came to Britain for the Great Exhibition. And our great safe-maker and lock-maker was... It's a nice, stout-sounding name. Chubb safes and Chubb locks. And they had an amazing Chubb detector lock, which was so subtle and clever in the mid-19th century. If it detected someone was trying to pick it, its tumblers would all fall down, and even the actual key for it would no longer fit. You'd have to destroy it to open it. He picked that in 7 minutes.
Wow.
Astonishing everybody and horrifying Chubb, of course.
Yeah.
Because they had the Bank of England account apart from anything else. So the Bank of England then replaced its Chubb locks with Hobbs locks. Good old American huckstering salesmanship and know-how. So he was a highly successful visit for Mr. Hobbs.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Until he got locked in the toilet somewhere.
Yeah. But who in poetic law laughs at locksmiths?
The Queen.
No.
The first Tuesday of every month.
The official laughing at locksmiths. Locksmiths are lining up. She's now praying in their faces, snorting derisively.
You can't open it.
Who laughs at locksmiths? Audience, who laughs at locksmiths? Love laughs at locksmiths.
Oh.
In other words, you lock the girl up, or you lock the boy up, or you put lock barriers between them, and they will always find a way through to each other.
Oh.
Except they don't, do they? Except
No.
if you're locked... No, they won't, will they? That's the trouble with poetry. It's just bollocks. I hate it. You just need a good
Raises
lock.
false hopes.
All you need is your lock to be slightly smarter than the two people in love, and really dumb people in love, and there are really good locks. It's ridiculous.
You're right. Oh, well. Speaking of keys, what's the key part of an arch?
Oh.
Yes, Bill.
Oh, no, your
was that
light
you?
came
Sorry.
on first.
Well, that's the trouble with these things.
You can't tell who it
Bill
is.
and I know
Do that
the
chord again.
We only know the same chord. We play in C. The keystone is the... I'm Aaron Davis.
It is commonplace to use the word keystone as being the thing that makes the arch work, but it isn't true. It's not the most important. All the archstones, or voussoirs, are equally important. But it is the last piece to go in, and it finishes rather beautifully, the arrangement, as it were. In Roman times, they'd get the constructor of the arch to stand right under the arch when the support scaffolding was taken away, just to show that he had faith enough in his own...
Well, it's natural selection of arch builders, isn't it? Was that guy any good? Well, he's still here.
I like that idea of getting people to test things. It's like going to a barbecue and getting someone to try the sausage before you eat it.
Oh, yeah.
There are certain things that you can only test by using, so it's then useless. I mean, a ring pull, essentially, you say, let's see, I wonder if this ring pull will work. Oh, yes, it does. Good. Now, oh, you can't. You can't. Same with airbags, I suppose.
Yeah. I've really tried to get the airbag to come out, but...
No luck?
No, if you try to really whack the dashboard
such a
really hard
enormous
with a
force.
mallet or something, and...
Well, you realise how much force it is by just trying to walk into a wall at 2 miles an hour, and your body won't let you.
Yeah.
It just won't. You just handled it.
No, I've done that.
By mistake when...
I did that after a night gone here.
Yes, well, all right. Yes, when drunk or texting or something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you actually consciously say, right, I'm going to walk into this wall, and it's only 2 miles an hour, not 3 miles an hour, just 2 miles an hour, and you just... Your hand goes up. You can't stop it. It's your reflex. It's
Is
so
there
strong.
a wall here? I'd like to see you not do that. The image of you not being able to walk 2 miles an hour into a wall.
But 2 miles an hour, I mean, what's a normal walking pace? 4 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So that's
what
half
I mean. It's
speed.
half normal walking speed. It's still enough to break your nose.
That's
There
not
is
even
the
a stroll, is it?
theory-
That's a shuffle.
It would break your nose.
Is the theory that if you're walking at exactly 2 miles an hour, like magic happens? You've got to get it exactly
I mean,
right.
just kind of slowly walk into a wall. Try it at home. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it's just me being a coward.
Take more than an hour to go 2 miles if you keep walking to walls, wouldn't that seem
Yes, it's true.
interesting thing about that?
That's true. So the fact of the matter is that keystones are no more important than any of the other stones in an arch. Why were the keys in a QWERTY keyboard arranged the way they are?
Now, this is... it makes it more difficult to type.
Yes, right.
And they wanted to slow it up.
Just like...
They wanted to slow, you were saying, typists down. No, what it is the ones that most commonly are done together in English were put furthest apart, so they were less likely to jam. So, in fact, it was in order to allow you to type more smoothly and speedily, so that you didn't get the jamming of the keys as they came up and hit each other.
Oh, I see.
Of course, these days, we don't use mechanical typewriters in that way, with the keys flopping up. That's how I learned to type. And...
Enormous typewriters.
That was tiny! I loved typewriters so much. I was obsessed with them.
Really?
Absolutely adored them, yeah.
Stephen?
Yeah.
Dinner's ready.
Yeah, it's true. I once copied out a whole novel on the typewriter.
Just
Did
to
you?
practice?
Yeah, just because I enjoyed the
Or were you
experience
going to
of
try
typing
and
so
sell
much.
it as
Yeah.
your own?
Just, yeah.
While other people were getting on with their lives,
Yeah.
you were doing...
What can
It's
I
the sort
tell
of
you?
man you are.
I'm sad.
I'm so modest.
What novel was it? This is
It was
important.
Frozen Assets by P.G. Woodhouse. It was not one of his best-known novels. Look! I'm sorry!
It's amazing you've come so far, isn't it?
What should I have been doing? What were you doing?
Anything
Listening
else.
to Flink Poyd or something.
Yes, clearly I was just lying somewhere, wasting my life when I should have been copying out novels
I didn't
on some
say you
archaic
should have
old
done.
bit of kit. Yes, what I like to do in my spare time. I write out Proust, you use my nail and I chip it into an old bit of flint.
You can't
No,
help
get off,
it.
Nanny, I haven't finished yet.
Such a bully! You mean?
Sir, Fry's copying out novels again. Sir, chipping them. He's using a hammer and a chisel. He's chiselled out War and Peace on the South Downs. You really do live a different life to all the rest. You're not like us, are you? You're you're not
Clearly
immortal. You're like sent from some other planet. You are the planet Aesthete. That's what you are.
I have cosmic clearance. Let me put it
Yes,
that way.
you do. You know when it's all going to end.
I always thought that was normal, and now I...
No,
Oh, well.
no, you're
Anyway,
you're a freak.
you can reprieve my fury at you by telling me the word that can be typed on the QWERTY line, on the top line. It's quite pleasing.
Twercuminator.
Typewriter.
Is it? Typewriter.
Typewriter can be done along the
Knew
top.
that.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's just a coincidence, typewriter across the top.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, there are a lot of people believe it was deliberate.
There was a little...
Yeah.
A lot of conspiracy theories.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We don't know that.
When it
you're
was
at the
brought to us
special
by
level of
Fargans from the planet
clearance.
Blech. Now, what starts with K and is killed by curiosity?
It's
A kitten.
I'm sorry. It's an animal species, but not a cat. There are a lot of these begin with
Kangaroo.
Ks. No, but you're in the right hemisphere.
Koala.
Again, you're in the right hemisphere, not the right
Kiwi.
country. Sorry?
Kiwi.
You're in the right type of animal.
Kia.
Kia is the right answer. Very good. A Kia is...
A
Flightless
New Zealand parrot.
No, it's not flightless in this case, oddly enough. It's a parrot. And there was a bounty put on them some years ago. Kia, which, as you can see, look quite ravenous. They look almost like eagles, but they are parrots, would ride the sheep and peck away at and eat the fat of the poor sheep. And so there was a bounty put on their heads, and New Zealanders found Kias were very curious animals. This is partly a result of having grown up in a country with no mammals for millions of years.
Yeah.
Anyway, what you do is you stand behind a rock and wait for a Kia to come along, and then you drop behind the rock and disappear. And the Kia thinks, that's odd. And he wanders up, and he takes a look over, and you just, with your club, just go bang, like that. But then that's the beauty of it, is you've only just started, because you don't have to move. You take the Kia and you put it down. The Kia's friend goes, where's Kevin?
It's Kevin.
wanders round, comes
They
along
all
like
called
that,
Kevin.
And then you drop down, disappear again. He goes, "Oh, hello, what happened there? There was someone, and then there wasn't someone. How does that happen?" And then he looks over, bash, and goes, no, where's Keith? And then so on, all the way through.
All the
you
case.
collect all the case. You get a huge swag bag of Kia.
They're not the brightest.
They're not the brightest things. But then you see, the point is they never needed to be. Because New Zealand, just apart from a few
That's
bats, never had any mammals.
No.
All they needed to do was mate and survive. The kakapo, for example, which is another type of parrot, the only thing likely to predate on it was a vast eagle that used to live in New Zealand called the Huss eagle. And so the kakapo solved that by becoming nocturnal, like the kiwi. So it could be afraid of nothing. And it developed this extraordinary mating ritual, which is just beyond belief. It's called the bowl and track. It's the only example of this particular version. It would dig a bowl, a crater, and then a path towards it, the track, which would be immaculately picked clean. And then it would sit for months of the mating season. It has this huge booming sack, and it sounds like a giant blowing across a beer bottle, this kind of noise. It would boom and boom, and the females in the valley below would listen to the boom they most liked, and they would waddle up. And if, by some terrible chance, a leaf had fallen on the track, the female would immediately just turn and walk away. And the poor old male would have to pick it clean, go back to booming again. Sometimes 3 years would pass. 3 years would pass, booming away, not getting his rocks off. It was just extraordinary.
Only evolutionary pressure on this bird was to get laid.
That's it.
There's nothing else. This
Nothing else.
fat, stupid, nocturnal, horny bird.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even get laid. Sounds like my life.
Kiwis they're not the most exciting birds. I mean, I've seen
Yeah,
kiwis.
have you burrowed down into one of their dens?
No, I haven't
I
bothered
did.
to do that.
It's
No,
exciting.
there's one on YouTube like playing the piano. No, no, I've seen them in special areas. You know,
I went out with this guy. He found one and he said, get in there, get in there. And so I burrowed. And you just see this little eye winking at you.
Yeah.
And that long, wonderful beak, and it just winked.
Oh.
With a
And
little
I winked
look,
back, and then sort of...
a little look that just says, "You just destroyed my house."
Yeah.
I was careful not to.
Oh, lovely.
Well,
3 years to
remember
make this.
The New Zealand government, they were given 2 pandas by the Chinese government in return for 2 kiwis, and I just thought it was a little bit of a twist,
Total rip.
Yeah, it's like New Zealand, the zoo in Auckland. All these people going, "Oh, look at him! Oh, look at the pandas!" No, some zoo in Beijing. People going, "What?"
These Kiwis don't even sneeze.
They don't have nothing.
Very good, very good, very good. Now, what is this woman doing, though?
What the? Is this Lady Gaga's new album cover? Isn't it? She's wearing
It's
it.
an experiment.
No, she's using a device that's for sale, or was for sale. It was built in 1929.
Making
a new
thing,
device.
Knitting jumpers.
Patented by Dr. Kurt Jonen. It records the motions and bodily reactions. A lady is pictured being examined by the device. Pneumatic belt records the change of the circumference of her chest. Pneumatic cuffs about the upper arms control the changes of muscle tension. Through a hose is recorded the rhythms of respiration, and another hose transfers the strength of touch.
It's a sex toy.
Yeah.
But what about her hands? That's the clue, and our theme today.
Piano. She's learning piano.
Piano,
key,
yes.
or-
It's a piano teaching machine. Extraordinary, isn't it? Extraordinary.
Wow.
It's supposed to help you with your piano playing, your posture, your breathing. There have been many others along those lines. There's the chiroplast, which was clamped to the piano and trapped the player's arms. That's the one on the left, so that you were forced to play using only a wrist and finger action.
You were then crippled.
There was the one in the middle, which was the dactylion, from the Greek dactyl, meaning finger, was a contraption designed to strengthen the fingers because there's springs that you're going against in that middle picture.
Yeah.
And it's said that Robert Schumann used that and it actually hurt his fingers, though others say that that was syphilis.
It's a fine line, isn't it? When you're into
always.
fingering, syphilis.
It's all over.
Next to that is the chiro or the chirogymnast, which is a tiny finger gym, which has got little finger events, and you can see them.
They still encourage you to do that. There's little
Yes,
spring-loaded
That's right.
strengthening things that I was given in the brief time I tried to get someone to teach me piano, and they said you should strengthen your fingers. I thought, might as well be playing piano.
Yeah, exactly. That
Really
makes sense.
annoying.
Yeah. My old piano teacher, she would be much better than this because she used a ruler And if you got it wrong, just whack you on the top of there. And that is more of a powerful
Age-old
incentive than any of these.
Yeah. But if you do harm yourself by using one of these things, you can always use the bed piano for bedridden people.
Wow.
Which is a rather splendid device. I think you'll agree.
I hope that's securely attached.
That is the laziest keyboard player in the world.
And as you see, it rolls up, pushes away neatly.
That's fantastic.
It's great, isn't it?
I want one.
You can slide pizzas down from the back.
Yes.
Bill's just sitting there going, I am going to get one of those.
I'm going to get one.
Bill will have one of those.
That's the piano over the bed. The upside-down piano.
That's
virtually.
magic.
It'd be easier to strap yourself into bed and tilt the bed up to a normal piano.
Yeah.
How would a left-handed piano work?
It'll be high notes at the left. There it is.
And there it is. That is a left-handed piano. It'd take a hell of a lot of unlearning for you to play on that,
Good
wouldn't it?
God.
Can you imagine? It would drive you mad.
You would.
Transposing pianos. Have you ever played with one of those?
Well, I've got there's a device on the keyboard that will do that.
Yeah.
for you, but
on an electric keyboard.
On an
But
electric
there are
one.
pianos that have a mechanism that
mechanical
moves,
ones.
mechanical
It's a
one.
lever on the
and it moves it across to the next string.
Oh, it does that, right.
Irving Berlin used one because he only composed in F sharp.
He's like Stevie Wonder, who likes
And
the
he
black
couldn't
notes.
read music, but he was the most successful songwriter of his age.
Really?
Yeah, he couldn't read music. He was fantastically talented. I mean, he's the man who wrote White Christmas, for God's sake, let alone Top Hat, White Tie. He lived long enough to be able to see his own songs go out of copyright. Because his first hit was in 1911 with Alexander's Ragtime Band. You know, Come On Here, Come On Here, Alexander's Ragtime Band.
They only go out of copyright after you're dead, though, by law.
No, they do now. But in
Right.
his day, it was 75 years after it was written.
Right.
So he lived long
God.
enough to see some of his songs go into the public domain.
How old was
now
he when
it's
he
70
wrote it,
years
then?
after he died. Very young, early 20s. But just had this extraordinary talent.
Amazing.
There's a long list of things I have to get after the show. I mean, it's the upside-down piano, the upside-down dinner, I mean, all of it.
Funny you should say there was a list of things, because that brings me exactly to France's list.
Oh,
How did he
Accidental
change...
segue.
There he is. How did he change the piano?
Did he have huge hands, didn't he, Liszt?
He did. He could span, a long, long span, yeah.
And didn't he... there was pianos made specially for him, wasn't it? Because he was
Well,
he's
yes,
piano-
and they then became the standard type because
Right.
he just gave it so much bloody welly that they made them out of an iron frame. Before that, they'd been a wooden frame.
I thought...
So in
yeah.
Jane Campion's film, The Piano, when the piano is thrown out in sea in the bay in the end, it should have floated instead of sinking because the film's set in 1850.
Right.
When it would have been a pre-Lisztian piano, almost certainly.
Oh, did that ruin it for you?
You won't be copying that film now.
Reels before that.
Well, this is rubbish. It's plainly not possible.
Right. So, good. What did the man who knew everything think cats were good for?
Well,
catching mice.
Catching mice?
Isn't the man who knew everything Thomas Young?
Well, there's various people who were given the title of the last man to know everything there was to know.
Yeah.
Erasmus, Leibniz, von Humboldt. And this man here, Kircher, his name is. He was a German Jesuit, Athanasius Kircher. And he certainly was very interested in lots of things. He was lowered into Vesuvius. He believed the bubonic plague was caused by microbes, well ahead of germ theory. Claimed falsely to have interpreted Egyptian hieroglyphics. He regarded things like magnetism and love as branches of the same topic, attraction, which is a very QI way of looking at things. I like that. Yeah, yeah.
But the cats, though, what are the cats doing?
Well, we'll come to that. Some things he got right. He denied the possibility of flying tortoises. I don't know if it raised the possibility, but he damn well squashed it. Said, nope, there won't be such a thing as a flying tortoise. But he did invent the megaphone and the Katzenklavier. Klavier is, in fact, German for key, from claven, Latin key, but it's the keyboard instrument.
the cat playing the piano. He invented YouTube.
I'm afraid for cat lovers it's a little bit more disturbing than that.
Oh, gut string.
No, not cat gut. No, arrange live cats in the right order according to their voice.
Oh.
And you play...
Drums.
And then,
That's awesome. Oh, if only they had YouTube back then. The outrage on the
another
keyboard
thing for
case
your
for the-
list, isn't
It's
it?
on the list, yes.
Got to get one of those.
their tails are fixed in place underneath hammers. And when a key is pressed, the hammer hits the corresponding. You can even get chords. And of course, there's dynamics. The harder you hit, the more of a...
You wouldn't necessarily have to be cruel. You could get a same mechanism, but just have it sort of tickle the bollocks of a cat. It's more like... As opposed to...
For a trill.
What do they think? You have an A cat and a B cat and a C cat?
I guess it just go around.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But there are only 6 cats and there are more than 6 keys, so...
Well, that's true. That's a limited range. It's very
Experimental music.
experimental.
all the other keys hit mice inside the box.
It's doubtfully actually built it, but he certainly wrote out the plans for one. And there are accounts of comparable devices for Philip II of Spain, which had the additional layer of hilarity that it was played by a bear. There are comparable records of pig organs that Louis XI of France had one made by the Abbot of Bain. There you are, getting ascending order of pig. I like the woman singing along with them as well.
You think she's playing the pigs, but the pigs are playing her.
And as later than the mid-19th century, there were some instruments known variously as the pig organ, the hog harmonium, pigano, porco forte, or worst of all, the swineway grand.
Nice.
So there you are, yes, several people have tried to make musical instruments out of live animals, although it doesn't really work very well in practice. And now for the welcome return of a keynote of QI, a bit of general ignorance very quickly. Fingers on keypads, nicely flexed, and name something written by Winston Churchill. Who was that? Yes.
The Second World War.
Have another go.
I don't know what. He won the Nobel Prize.
He won the Nobel
didn't
Prize
he?
for Literature.
Yes, he did.
So much.
Our Prime Minister won the Nobel Prize for Literature, no question. Can you, just out of interest, name the only person to win a Nobel Prize and an Oscar? People wrongly say Al Gore because there was an Oscar given to an inconvenient truth and he was given a Nobel Peace Prize, but he didn't win the Oscar personally.
Any offers punters?
Sean Connery.
Shaw is the right answer. George Bernard Shaw.
George Bernard Shaw.
Yes.
Came
through the door.
Came through the door. Yes. No, he had ladies' public conveniences built. He was
He was very interested in stuff like that.
People said it was outrageous and disgusting
Yeah.
that there should be a public convenience for women. How appalling. And he said, no, I think women need to go too. And he had the first ladies' loos in London.
Yes. Interesting chap. But anyway, Winston Churchill did not write under the name Winston Churchill. Our Prime Minister didn't. Right. What did he write under the name of?
Anne Bronte.
The Gathering Storm by Anne Bronte.
Daphne du Maurier.
My early years.
Katie Price.
No. What's his full name? Do you remember his full name?
Spencer.
William Leonard Spencer Churchill. So he wrote under the name Winston S. Churchill. Because when he started writing, there was a very successful American novelist called Winston Churchill. And so, out of politeness to him, he wrote to him this very complicated letter, which was sort of jokey, I think. He says, Winston Churchill has no doubt that Mr. Winston Churchill will recognise from this letter, if indeed by no other means, that there is grave danger of his works being mistaken for those of Mr. Winston Churchill. He feels sure that Mr. Winston Churchill desires this as little as he does himself. In future, to avoid mistakes as far as possible, Mr. Winston Churchill has decided to sign all published articles, stories or other works Winston Spencer Churchill and not Winston Churchill as formerly. He trusts that this arrangement will commend itself to Mr. Winston Churchill. And Winston Churchill replied that Mr. Winston Churchill appreciates the courtesy of Mr. Winston Churchill in adopting the name of Winston Spencer Churchill in his books, articles, etc. Mr. Winston Churchill makes haste to add that had he possessed any other names, he would certainly have adopted one of them. There you go. So how polite.
Yeah.
That's so lovely.
It's nice. Like the fact they refer to themselves in the third person.
Mr. Churchill all the
Yeah.
time. Clement Freud had a very good story he used to tell about when he was an MP. He went to China on a sort of fact-finding visit with other parliamentarians, including Winston Churchill Jr., i.e. the grandson of Winston Spencer Churchill, who was a Tory MP. And one day, Winston Churchill invited him back to his room at the hotel for a nightcap, and Freud went and saw that his room was so much better than his. So the next day, Freud said to the guide, he said, I'm not complaining, but I just wondered why Mr. Churchill's room is so much bigger than mine. And the Chinese person said, well, it's because he has famous grandfather. And Clement Freud said, it's the only time I've ever been out-grandfathered. You'd think if you were your grandfather was Sigmund Freud, you were safe. That no one could out-grandfather you.
You've got the...
Done.
The executive suite.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you should have seen Steve Hitler's room. It's enormous.
Now, what truly grim reading matter was banned in Germany after the war?
Romantic comedies, Mills and Boon.
Say what you hear. The clue's in the question.
Say the question again.
What truly grim reading matter was Grimm.
The Brothers Grimm.
The Brothers Grimm.
Ah, right.
Because people believed that the real savagery of the Grimm fairy tales had contributed to something that had turned the German people nasty, the perceived barbarity of the people. The argument that they'd fostered obedience, discipline, authoritarianism, nationalism, glorification of violence, all that kind of thing, became part of the national character. According to a British major, T.J. Leonard, he said the fairy tales had helped teach German children all the varieties of barbarousness, including light flanelling. It made them easy to fit the role of hangman and so on and so forth. There was one of the stories was called How Children Played Butcher with Each Other. It was really savage. That was removed from the second edition. And in The Frog King, the frog is not kissed by the princess. He's hurled against a wall with all the strength she has to turn him into a prince. Rather battered, brutal.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 miles an hour.
2 miles an hour. And he goes like that. That's all he can do.
You got little froggy arms.
On the other hand, there is a lyrical quality. The last in the collection, you'll love this story, is a little poor boy goes out into a wintry forest to collect wood on a sled. In the snow, he finds a tiny key, and next to it, an iron box. The boy inserts the key, he turns it, he lifts the lid. End of story.
Oh, really? That's Pulp Fiction.
Exactly, it's the suitcase in Pulp Fiction. Exactly what I thought of it. The rest is up to your imagination, boys and girls. What do you think was in that box? I think it was a stash of porn.
That's why I used to go into the woods.
Well, we've ended on a sour, bitter, and very rude note, which is the way we like to end QI. So, it brings us to the scores, and let's have a look. My word, my goodness, my gracious, my goodness, and my everything. In first place, with +3, is Bill Bailey!
How do you end up with +3?
Second place, for a first-timer with -8, it's Issy! Third place, on his first appearance, is really not bad. It's Tim Minchin! And yes, in fourth place is Alan Davis! So, that's it from Issy, Tim, Bill, Alan and me, and good night.
Get your fundraising goodies from bbc.co.uk/Pudsey.
Well, next on BBC Two, Christian Scholl's in the hot seat for Never Mind the Buzzcocks, while on BBC Three now, American Dad.